Hey, what's up, everybody? This is a video response to Bing, and his video is entitled. I'm against same-sex marriage." First off, let me give you a little bit of advice. When you want to voice your opinion and you want to actually sound like you really are strong in your convictions, you need to talk higher than like your air conditioning in the background. Because your air conditioning in your background is proclaiming its biased opinion of how cold it wants your house to be louder than you are voicing your own opinion. So speak up if you really honestly feel what you're saying. Okay, so your first point is that you think that it's wrong to compare homosexuality to slavery and suffering that the African community has gotten through their history. At least in this country, I guess. I'm assuming that's what you mean. And obviously no one is going to say that they're the exact same. So, but to say like, oh, well, it's offensive to me that people compare it when they have similar attributes, that's just going to happen. Whether or not it offends you or not, it does not change the fact that there are similarities in the two through obvious civil rights, equality, being treated lesser than human. I think it's pretty clear to say that somebody like you says, it offends me that you would even relate homosexuality to being black. I think it would be pretty fair to say that during slavery in this country, that a white person would probably say it's pretty offensive that you would even compare a black person being human like me. Now, I'm not saying that, but I think that it's pretty obvious that the irony of it is that you're bringing up the African American suffrage or suffering in this country, but then at the same time you're actually you're doing the same thing that the slave owners did. You have the exact same opinion and attitude as them. Now, if you said that they're not exactly the same, I would totally agree with you. Obviously, they're not exactly the same, but what you said, there is no comparison. I just made a few comparisons. I mean, if you want to say, even if there is a comparison, I just don't like it when people say it. You can say that. Now, that's kind of an ignorant, bigoted kind of way of looking at it. In other words, don't talk to me about it because I don't want to even, But, I mean, that's your opinion. But to say that there's like, oh, they don't even relate, that's just not true. I mean, it's just ignorant and wrong. And then after this, it seems like you just keep kind of repeating this kind of like philosophy of like, gays are not, you can't compare them because black people were first because we all come from Africa. What is that? How does that? I'm not disagreeing with you on that concept. I think that out of Africa is one of the most accepted origin stories to where human beings like all started in one race. I don't disagree with that, but I don't see how that has anything to do with why you shouldn't be allowed to compare it to homosexuality because black people were here first, because the first two people here were black, and they were a man and a woman. Explain yourself. Explain what you mean by that. That doesn't mean anything. It's like the beginning of an argument. It's like the anecdote to the beginning of an argument, but just no argument. After this point, you start going into this whole like, well, gay people don't bother me, and then so obviously I don't bother them. Well, obviously they bother you because you had the motivation to put up a video about your disgust and your hurt feelings. Not hurt feelings. That's not a good way to say it. I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you're saying like. I'm offended, so I'm going to make a video. And then you're saying, well, they don't bother me, so I don't bother them. Well, you can't say that because you were bothered by them. That's why you made this video. I mean, I don't think you would disagree that that's the whole point of this video is that, to you it's disrespectful to compare even to two black people, and that homosexuality is kind of weird and gross anyways, and that, it's I'm sure there's a biblical reason in here somewhere eventually, because it's really hard to find any other reason other than biblical. In other words, God does not like gays. I'm sure that's there somewhere in this. You don't say it, but I have a big feeling that that's what's from, because there's really no basis to your argument. You don't even say a basis to your argument. I mean, are you arguing that black people came first? I don't think a lot of people disagree with you. That's a good argument. Make that argument, okay? But wait a minute. I think I actually did see a point here. Okay, so after about 2 minutes of you know what I'm saying, and you know, a very brief history of out of Africa. Now I think we finally found it because it's unnatural. That's what we're starting on right now. So, of course, marriage is obviously unnatural too. Something we created. You don't see other animals getting married. You do, however, see other animals engaging in homosexuality. So, again, you need to show me something. Show me what you mean when you say that. Give me at least one example other than just hearing your words, because just like me, words don't really mean much unless you are concise about it. And there's two parts to an argument. There's the you could say my personal opinion, and then there's science, and all you are putting is your personal opinion out there, which is pseudoscience. And we've hit ignorant gold. So, now we're doing the Adam and Steve argument, huh? Because it rhymes, Adam and Eve and Adam and Steve, so gotta be right. See, now this is really where I feel stupid for even talking to you, or even making a response video to you. Because this is proof that you obviously... I could say gay marriage should not be allowed, and you'd say why, and I'd go jingly keys, jingly keys, jingly keys, and you go, oh, well, they are pretty and they make a nice noise, so you might be right. That's the same thing as basing your opinion on a rhyme like Adam and Steve, Adam and Eve, and of course, yeah, and then here's the biblical reason, of course, because there's absolutely no other reason to really say I hold down homosexuality or gay marriage or anybody else's civil rights other than, God told you not to. And on a second note, I might get a little bit of shit for this, but do you not find it ironic that you're bringing up slavery and yet you're also preaching about the God of your slaves? Do you find that kind of ironic? As the same as you're being bigoted against homosexuality and then claiming that it has nothing to do with the bigotry of racism or race equality. Now the rest of it's pretty inaudible because, like I said, you have like an air conditioning running or TV going, or you're not using maybe your mic is turned down too low, but it's really inaudible to hear. But my main point is that, you say I don't have a problem with gays. You say they don't bother me. I don't bother them. But let me give you like an example of me proving that it bothers you. In fact, let me give you an example that proves that you're afraid of it. Let's say you're a 5-year-old girl, and you see a cockroach, and the girl jumps away from it and goes, "Ooh, icky cockroach." See, she doesn't have any real reason. I mean, it'd be different if she was like a scientist and said, "Oh, bugs just aren't my thing. I am in this science field," or whatever. The little girl jumps away and says "icky" because she's afraid of it. She doesn't understand it. She doesn't know what it is. It's just creepy to her, and it's the same. It's the same opinion that you have. And I also hope you understand that if you put out a video and say, "Hey, I don't hate people. This is just my opinion. If you don't like it, I hope you realize that you are allowed to have free speech, and you are allowed to say whatever you want on here. And then people, obviously, if you're putting it up in a public forum, people are allowed to critique it, and that's what I'm doing right now. So, if you have a response to this, I'd appreciate it. So yeah, let me know what your arguments are. Do you have a real argument other than it's gross or that it's unnatural? Do you have a more something that can you maybe claim something that doesn't have anything to do with your own personal beliefs? Like, can you say a real legal reason or harm to others? Like, who does it harm to make gay marriage legal? That's my real question to you. I mean, other than making baby Jesus cry, well, who does it harm? Bohemian Atheist, peace.